All right, today we have a fraction first, and it's just a subtraction problem. So we already know what we have to do. We know we have to subtract. I already see that 3 and 5 are not the same denominator, and so we know that when we have denominators that are different, we have to find a common denominator. We cannot subtract the way that it is. So step 1 means I've got to find that common denominator and create equivalent fractions. So for those who have maybe forgotten over this little break, I can write the multiples of 3. I can do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and I can list some 5s. I've got 5, 10, 15. Oh, here we go. I have one that they have in common. I have 15. So using 15, I'm going to come up with equivalent fractions. All right, I know that I can multiply by 5 to get from 3 to 15th. So my representation of 1 is going to be 5 fifths. 3 times 5 is 15, so 1 times 5 is 5. To get from 5 to 15, I know I'm going to need to do that by 3, so I'm going to multiply by 3/3. 5 times 3 is 15, 2 times 3 is 6. But here I have another problem. I have 5 with the top number and 6 on the bottom, so I cannot do 5 minus 6. So I'm going to have to regroup my 7. I'm going to have to take one of those wholes from my 7, so 7 will become 6 wholes. Okay, if my denominator is 15, how many 15ths make a whole? Well, 15 15ths make a whole, so that's the one I'm borrowed. I'm going to add it to what I have. That's going to give me 20 15ths. Now I can subtract. So I'm going to come back over here. 6 minus 2 is 4. 15 is my denominator. 20 minus 6 is 14. 14 and 15 do not have a common factor, so it cannot be put in simplest form. It's just 4 and 14 15ths. Number 2, Jacob had 8 pints of milk. Chastity had 24 cups of milk. Who had more? Well, I notice that Jacob is in pints and Chastity is in cups. So I need to get them into the same measurement before I can compare them. So that's how I'm going to know who has more. So I'm going to draw my king gallon up here, because sometimes it's a little hard to do without. King Gallon had 4 queens. And each queen had 2 princes. And each prince had 2 cats. Don't really fit in my picture there. So I've got my cats here. So if I know that when I'm looking at 8 pints, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints. That's going to be 8 times each pint has 2 cups, so I'm going to do 8 times 2. So 8 pints is equal to 16 cups. But Chastity, and that's Jacob, Chastity has 24 cups. So now that they're both in the same unit of measure, I can see that Chastity has more milk than Jacob, because she has 24 cups and his 8 pints only equals 16 cups. So that shows that Chastity has more, and that's how we know. How do we represent 7 pizzas shared by 9 people? Well, first off, if I see the word sharing, I know that I'm going to be dividing. So I can already slash and trash multiplying and adding. So now I have to decide, am I sharing the 9 people or am I sharing the 7 pizzas? When I go and I look at my problem, it says I have 7 pizzas by 9 people. So I'm sharing 7 things by 9 people. So if I'm sharing the pizzas, that's going to give me letter D. Okay, don't let those trick you. All right, we know volume. We have 3 measurements. We know volume is length times width times height. So I'm just going to multiply. I have 4 times 9 times 6. I know that 4 times 9 is 36. That leaves me with 36 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 221. So I have a total of 216 cubic inches. Okay, on number 5, when it says that I'm looking for a sum, that's one of those key words that we know that means that I'm going to have to add. Okay, when I'm adding numbers with decimals, I need to line them up by the decimal point, not by the number of digits in the problem, but by the decimal point. So I've got 31 and 4/10. I have 798 thousandths, and I have 101 and 56 hundredths. And to make sure that I add these up correctly, I can put zeros in these blank spaces. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal on my answer. You know, we always say drop it like it's hot, so we don't forget to put it there. And then we add 0 plus 8 is 8. 9 plus 6 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. Carry the 1. 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 0 is 3. And 1 plus nothing is 1. 133 and 758 thousandths. Nice job, guys.